Hello everyone, welcome back to Mycorrhiza, still don't know how you guys want to pronounce it, do it however you want. Last video we played the first door, it was titled Pets. And this one we are gonna play the middle door that I still don't know the name, we're gonna find out. Forget to like, comment, subscribe, let's get spooky together. Oh god, no, I'm gonna leave. This store, does it have a title? A guide to funny faces. I don't want it. You can have it. Oh, for frick's sake, what the heck is this? I don't want to look at it. Alright, I don't know if other options would lead us to something else or not. I'm confused about this game. Not very spooky, to be honest. Kind of a little bit spooky. I shot awake, panting heavily, my clothes sticking to my skin due to all the sweat. Oh, okay. My eyes darted around the room, but everything was quiet. I seemed to be safe. Nightmare. Just seems like I just had a nightmare. There was some kind of animal or monster. There was some eerie plant. I had forgotten most of the dream, but I knew it must have been terrifying. The pulsing pain in my head slowly subsided. I took deep breaths and kept mumbling to myself that it had all been a dream, nothing more. After calming down, I decided to take another look around the house. The fact that no one was here, even though the lights were on, was still nagging at the back of my mind. So this part of the game is like the previous one where we woke up, had a nightmare, and then we're just gonna see around the house. I look out of the window, confirming that it was still night. Oh, I think the last one, it was already daytime. I had either slept for a whole day or only for a few hours. Considering how tired I felt, it must have been the still not English, still don't know how to read all the things. I left the bedroom to retry the doors just in case. They were still locked. I really wanted to go home and take a shower. I smelled my clothes and they indeed had started to smell slightly sour. This place seemed to have nothing left to offer. I'd be better off out in the streets, even if it was still dark. All I needed was to find the police station. They'd definitely be able to help me. As I wandered around, I grew more and more aware of how big this town was. The buildings were tall, and nature was rather scarce. The streets, however, were completely empty. Suddenly my ears began to pick up the subtle sound of laughter. So this sound has nothing to do with the first one. The sound turned to a sneeze in my empty stomach. Guy, just eat something. It was awfully late for such a public crowd. There wasn't cheering or rounds of applause. Just laughter, loud and obnoxious laughter, that didn't seem to subside or grow. It became louder as I approached the town center. I don't want to go there. Soon it turned into a wave of commotion that by what sounded by a massive crowd. To be a massive crowd. God damn it, I don't know how to read. They just laughed and kept laughing. It sounded dreadful. I was tempted to change course to avoid them. Yeah, let's do that. Yet this direction was my best bet for finding an inn or a police station. These priorities outweighed my sense of danger. I pressed on. The laughter was bellowing with hundreds of voices until finally I could glimpse the source of the commotion. Oh god! The crowd gathered around the performer who was doing something to make them laugh. I strained to see the action, peeking through the small gaps between the people while keeping a safe distance. God damn it, outside! They were still honking outside. The group was just too dense, I couldn't see any details because I'm short as heck. Curiosity overwhelmed me and I started pushing through the people. They seemed to melt away without paying me much attention. As I approached, I passed the table with books. I couldn't make out their title, but I could see something that resembled a mask on the cover. Paying it no mind, I pressed onward. I couldn't understand what was happening. The performer wasn't making any sounds. I couldn't make out any movement from beyond the crowd either. What was so entertaining? Finally, I reached the front. But what I saw was the opposite of funny. It was horrifying. Yo, how you doing? What was wrong with his head? It is the Holy Trinity, in this case the Unholy Trinity. He turned his hips so that everyone in the crowd could have a clear view. As if he didn't want anyone to miss it. Why are people laughing at this? It's me. The bystander heard me. I don't know, his face just seems so funny. I mean, look at it. I stared at him in disbelief. He and the others really did seem to find this funny. Were they seeing something I wasn't? No matter how I look at it, didn't seem like anything other than disturbing, yeah. I averted my gaze and walked away. I wanted nothing to do with this madness. Too late, bud. We're dead. I continued to come through the town center while trying to keep my distance from the crowd, because there were crazy people. Soon I noticed as the sun had already started to rise. And I still hadn't found anything that even vaguely resembled a police station. Oh, hi again. It's kind of creepy, isn't it? Oops. I didn't mean to... I had walked by a girl that was standing nearby. She was watching the crowd from a distance. Yeah, it is. I was glad to hear that someone else was singing the same. An awkward pause followed. I had been under the impression that she wanted to start up a conversation, but I guess that wasn't the case. My stomach broke the silence. Are you hungry? Blood shot to my face. It was true that I was feeling starved. Swallowing my pride, I nodded. Have a sandwich with me, you can have it. I have a sandwich with me, you can have it. I really need to learn how to read. Are you sure? No worries, I'm not hungry anyways. Had to hold myself back as to not lunge onto it. But I kept my cool and I ate it cautiously as not to embarrass myself. Some of my strength returned to me. In the meanwhile, I decided to ask her about this town. Sorry, I don't really know my way around here that well. Oh, so you're not from here? No, not really. Maybe I could help you look. I'm feeling a bit uneasy about being alone here anyways. I glanced back in the direction of the laughing crowd. They were crazy people. Sure, I would really appreciate that. I'm Scott, by the way. I'm laughing because my family had a dog named Scott. I'm May. Nice to meet you. We set off to look for help. The idea to call someone I knew from May's phone came up, but she didn't have it on her, unfortunately, unlike the last story. We approached several people to ask them for directions, but all of them seemed to ignore us. I tried to make some small talk with May every now and then, but her replies were always short and didn't leave much room to follow-ups. But she perked up when I asked her about her family. I have a sister. At first I thought that would be all I'd get out of her, but she continued after a short pause. She's been home more recently. Usually she'll leave early and return late, or not return home at all for several days. That's weird. Her job is really important, so it makes sense. But I was really happy when she told me that she wouldn't go to work for a while. I assumed she was finally able to request some time off, but she continued to work even at home. May hung her head. It seemed like I had touched on a sensitive topic. I thought of ways to console her or cheer her up, but I couldn't come up with anything to say. Since I didn't have any siblings, it was hard to relate, but it seemed like she really loved her sister. Yeah, also can relate. Only child, only have cats. I could actually relate more to May's sister. Just as her, I too have barely been home due to my work. And just like her, I'd likely be working even if I was home. But as opposed to May's sister, I didn't have anyone who was expecting me back home. I decided against walking any further, and instead shifted my focus back on asking people for directions. Without much luck. Oddly enough, it was as if they were all going to the same direction, the town center. Do you think they're going to see that performer? Silence. Maybe she just hadn't heard me. I turned around to ask her again, but she was nowhere to be seen. Oh, let me guess, she's also at the town center, laughing her butt off. Just as I finished that thought, I felt a presence behind me. I slowly turned around. Hi, how you doing? I'm sorry, I don't get spooked by this. You fine? You cool? You don't look very well. Do you need a doctor? What the hell? What do you think? Do I look funny? No, you look dumb as heck. What? No, get away from me! Took a few steps back, almost afraid the man would lunge at me. But he didn't, he just stood there. I see, maybe I didn't do it quite right. Okay, weirdo. And with that, he walked off disappointed. He took a book out of his pocket and started flicking through it. For some weird reason, he seemed familiar. Wasn't it the guy that we talked at the center? Town center? Okay, I clicked, but nothing happened. Okay. This town was giving me the creeps. I needed to get out of there as fast as... Get out of here as fast as I could. But as I turned around, I saw that most of the people walking by had distorted their faces in one way or another. It was as if a virus had spread while we were looking for help. This was madness. I need to get out of here, but where to? And where was May? I was getting kind of worried. Okay, we can... I took a look around and thought what to do. Okay, we can either stay on the main street, it would be easier to find May or a police station that way, or go through the back street to avoid attracting any unwanted attention. Okay, none of these options are the best, because if we stay in the main street, yeah, it will be easy, but everyone is gonna be there. But if we go to the back street, we probably won't see May. Okay, we're gonna stay on the main street and see what happens. I felt uneasy around these people, but I didn't want to negatively impede my chance of finding help. Quickly, I hurried off while trying to ignore everyone's gaze. But wherever I went, these people were everywhere. On top of that, the town seemed to have no end. I couldn't find a road that led out, no matter how long I searched. Just as I was wondering about what to do, I recognized someone standing near a building. There you are, you had me worried. Oh, I'm sorry, I had something to take care of. That sounded oddly vague. But I didn't want to be rude, so I dropped it. I did give her a sandwich. She did give me a sandwich, after all. Did you have any luck finding your way back home? No, still nothing, and on top of that, there are all these weird people walking around. Actually, I know someone who may be able to help. You do? Yes, they don't live far from here. How about I introduce you? And no worries, they don't own a dog. Ah, yeah, sure. Wasn't she new in this town? Maybe she met them while we were separated. And why did she bring up dogs? It's not like I ever told her whether I did or didn't mind dogs. Yeah, I found that very weird. Are you the same, May? Perhaps I said something during my small talk attempts that made her think it that way. I considered questioning her, but this was the only lead I had. Only lead I have found so far that I didn't want to lose this chance. You're gonna die! We arrived at an old, tall building. I watched May from the corner of my eye. Something seemed different about her, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. Perhaps it was just my imagination. No. They live on the highest floor. This building is pretty old, and not many people live here anymore, so it's a bit run down. I'd appreciate it if you went first. I didn't want to go first. Why don't you go first? I didn't protest and led us into the structure. The building was quite desolate, just as she had said. This place made me feel uneasy. Didn't want to stay here any longer than I had to. Not only was I afraid that everything would come down on our heads any minute, I could only imagine what could lurk in these abandoned halls. I didn't blame her for wanting me to go first. After climbing a set of stairs, May spoke up again. It should be the door at the end of this hall. It's always the door at the end of the hall. I saw the door she was referring to. It was probably the only door in the entire building that wasn't damaged. The clean coat of paint was an eerie contrast in the ravaged environment. And the one living there can help me? No reply. Turned around and saw nothing. May vanished. May was gone again. She could have at least said goodbye. I walked up to the door to knock, but it was already open. Maybe I had the wrong door after all, yet May had seemed certain. Enter the apartment, take a look around the building. Okay, we're gonna go in, I don't care. Perhaps I forgot to lock the door, we're gonna die anyway. Or May had already notified them that we were coming and they left it open for us. Nah, I gave the door a soft push. Honestly, I was just gonna go and look around the building, but I was like, nah, let's just go in. Hello? No reply. It was a very small apartment. The door opened to the living room, which seemed to double as a bedroom. A single corridor led to 2 more rooms, like the bathroom and the kitchen. Just like the door itself, everything looked way too clean and tidy compared to the hallway outside. I stepped in and peered through the window, hoping to spot this person that I was supposed to meet. Everything looked normal from up here, but I knew that wasn't the case. Something was wrong with this town, and I was trapped here. Would I ever be able to return home? I had people who relied on me. Wait. First you said you had no one waiting for you at home. Now you have people who rely on you? Who? Would my team at the lab manage without me? Sure. I turned myself away from the window. This wasn't the time to think about that. I should be concentrating on finding a way out. Stay here and wait, just take a look. Check the picture, check the text, check the other rooms. Okay, let's see the other rooms. As I suspect, it was just a bathroom and a kitchen. Something about the bathroom caught my eye. It was filled with countless beauty products. Scarily many beauty products. The shelves were overflowing. I could barely see the counter. Even the floor was littered with them. Shaking my head, I went back into the living room. Okay, we checked the room. Let's see the desk. Surface of the desk was crammed with beauty products. A single mirror was standing amongst them. A small book was buried beneath the clutter. I'm gonna check the mirror and then pee myself. My own reflection peeked back at me. I looked like I had aged a decade. My lack of sleep had really done a number on me. Not to mention all these strange occurrences today. If I ever get out of this, I'll need a long vacation, I thought. As I looked in the mirror, a newspaper page hanging on the wall behind me caught my eye. I approached it and skimmed it in case I had any hints on what was going on in this town. But I was unfortunately wrong. The issue of News was the paper, as the paper was called, was several years old. The subheading read, "A rising new artist has wowed the judges at the Kashmir art competition." I'm never going to be able to pronounce that. "We can't wait to see her next work. She has a bright future ahead of her," one of the judges said. This article didn't seem to be important to my current situation. Maybe you should see the picture, no? I couldn't see any more newspaper snippets around. Disappointed, I averted my gaze and took another look around the room. Okay, see the pictures. You're probably gonna see May or someone like that. I took a look at the pictures hanging on the wall. Most of them were paintings that depicted nature. Only a few of them were photographs. One of the notes scribbled onto it caught my eye. It depicted a man and a woman having a picnic. The note said Sabrina and Frederick, BFF. Seemed like one of them was living here, or maybe both. At the very least, I would now be able to recognize the tenant once I see them. Suddenly, I heard a sound outside the apartment. I hastily slipped inside a closet and carefully pulled it shut. I wasn't sure why I was hiding, but I had an awful feeling in my guts. Finding a stranger standing in your apartment probably wouldn't be something someone would take in stride. Then again, finding one in your closet would be even worse. I watched through slits in the door as they entered the apartment. They stopped in the entryway and took a look around the room. Was this the tenant? Shadows were obscuring part of their body. I strained my eyes, trying to figure what they looked like. But what I saw made me cover my mouth and suppress a gasp. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Show me! I've seen worse. The woman's face was ravaged. Fleshy chunks clung to her forehead. Were those face parts? I forgot to close the door again. She spoke to herself and moved as if nothing was wrong but her face. It was horrendous. She walked up to the mirror. This looks so much better, just like in the book. I should check the text again. I may have missed something. She picked up the book that was lying on the desk and flipped it open. I see. I need more. Yes, I definitely need more. No, girl, you need less. Much less. She looked back into the mirror and caressed her disfigured face. She backed towards the exit and left the apartment. Her eyes never left the mirror. Oh, what a crazy chick. I remained frozen in the closet for a few more minutes. My heart slowly calmed itself. Once I was sure that she was really gone, I stepped out. I needed to get myself as far away from this building as this town as fast as I possibly could. As I was about to leave the apartment, a sudden wave of fatigue came over me. It was as if I had stepped into a veil. The air had gotten heavier and my breathing became more ragged. I clutched my chest as I tried to figure out what was going on. A throbbing pain pulsed through my arm. It was as if someone had stabbed me. I tried to turn around, but I had already become too weak. My feet gave in and my vision darkened. I could feel a presence near me. The woman? May? Before I could find out, my consciousness faded. Yeah, and this was just like in the other story, where you just lose conscious. Alright. There you go, guys. We finished the second story. So I'll be seeing you in our probably last video. I'll see you there. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to have a wonderful day. I'm gonna take a nap.